You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging out with you guys. And today, I have a really exciting guest interview for you guys and something that I'm really passionate about. A lot of you guys know that I'm a marketing and sales and marketing kind of junkie and guru myself, but we actually are joined here. We have Samantha on the phone from Postcard Mania. Samantha, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great. How do you say your last name? Is it Heald? Heald?
It's Samantha Heald.
Heald. I got it wrong. I had a 50-50 chance.
Yep, I know. You should have seen my maiden name. My maiden name had a lot of extra vowels. Nobody knew how to pronounce it. This is much easier, and it still gets butchered.
Well, that's all good here. We'll have Marty, Mr. Producer, our producer. He can always edit that part out and make me sound not incompetent. Fair enough. So, no, just having fun. But well, if you guys don't know Samantha, she is a friend of mine. We've been actually having conversation for well over 6+ months here, if not longer. Actually, the whole Postcard Mania conversation actually started a little over a year ago. And so what we're going to talk today is about postcards, door hangers, and these guys are our preferred print shop to get our door hangers and postcards made up. And a lot of you guys have seen those plug-and-play postcards and templates that we have available on Lawntrepreneur for purchase. And so we're going to explain all this. We're going to just kind of give you guys the lay of the land. Samantha and I are going to kind of tag team on this conversation and topic. And so we're really excited about bringing you guys some valuable content today to help you guys grow and market your business. So Samantha, before we go down that whole rabbit hole, can you maybe just give your quick minute or two stats and update and bio about what you do over there at Postcard Mania?
Absolutely. Yeah. So just a little bit more about Postcard Mania. We've actually been in business for about 23 years now. Joy Jandusa is our owner, and she is the one who started the company. She had no investors. She started it all out of her own pocket. She still has no investors now, 23 years later. We actually own and operate all of our own printing presses. So everything we do is all here, whether we're printing it and mailing it or printing it and shipping it. We've grown. We started with maybe a couple of staff. She had herself and a few people under her. And now 23 years later, I'm pretty sure we're at about 300 employees.
Wow.
So we're a very large operation. We've been in Inc. 500. We've been in like the top, workplaces to work. We keep it very fun over here, but it's a large operation. It's so fun. And I've personally been with the company for about 16 years now.
That's awesome. Wow. And you get to manage a lot of the corporate accounts and whatnot. Is that right?
Correct. I'm the VP of Corporate Relations. I'm the one that sets up the accounts, like my relationship with Brian. And anybody that's interested in referring over their clients and setting up a preferred relationship. Just like Brian, you have discounted rates. So that was something that I set up for you. So you guys have special discounted pricing that's below our regular retail packages because of our relationship.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the partnership with Postcard Mania for sure. And we're just getting started. And I'm just trying to spread the word for you guys to help you guys out, because here's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. A lot of you guys have your business. It might be a little newer, first couple years, maybe even have a business that's 5 or 10 years old. And you guys are looking to market. You guys are looking to grow, get new customers. And we're trying to figure out what's the most effective way to do that. Well, for me personally, my bread and butter has always been yard signs and postcards. And I love postcard marketing because it's direct, it gets to the customer, it gets in their hands. There's like the good old 1% or 2% return. I still think they're one of the most effective ways to market your business. I'm sure Samantha will kind of cover some of this as we go into it. But what we wanted to do over the last 12 months is design plug-and-play postcard templates that you guys can purchase off of LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. When you purchase that training course or program, what you're really purchasing is the PDF art file. Now, the exact file is not editable, but we do have some options here to help you guys out with that, so stay tuned for that. But the idea is postcards take a lot of time to develop. They're between the design fee, the 5 or 10 hours to get them made up, it can be an overwhelming process. And in the off season, you might have that time. You might have those resources to commit. But during the regular season, like this time of year, we're shooting this early spring 21. It's gangbusters. The phones are ringing. We're trying to expand business. We're trying to get the word out. You don't have 5 or 10 hours to go through a print shop and to spend $100, $200, $300 on designing, right? And all that back and forth. So these have been very, very effective designs of what we use to market our business. And so we're going to break this all down. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. I definitely want to take Samantha's education and experience with doing this for over 16 years and help share that with you guys here today. So it'll be a little bit different style of episode. We're not going to scream at you about business mindset and all that fun stuff. Today, we're going to keep it lighthearted. We're going to have some fun and talk to you guys about marketing your business right after today's show sponsors.
Hey, Lenny Magno with Exmark here with some food for thought when it comes to choosing the right zero-turn mowers. What do you value in a zero-turn mower? Productivity, reliability, cut quality, or a combination of each? At Exmark, we're constantly listening to our customers to ensure our Laser Z mowers deliver the right features, productivity, and uptime performance to help them grow their business. Visit Exmark.com to learn about the innovations that make the Laser Z the green industry's most trusted zero-turn mower.
Ratings and reviews. Each week, we take a minute to highlight your guys' reviews of the show.
Coming right out of the gate hot, Ruben Spades Rodriguez calls the podcast a must listen. He gives it 5 stars and writes, "Love this podcast. My favorite episodes are the ones that Brian is just fired up and in your face, or should I say, well, in your ears. LOL. He tells it like it is while providing great info in the lawn maintenance industry as well as business in general. Keep it up. Keep those episodes coming. And last but not least, Mr. Producer, you the man." Well, looks like Spades has figured out how to get his comments read on the show. Ron757 describes the podcast as full value. Brian delivers so much free value in every episode. My mindset and business continues just to grow from these shows. Thanks, Brian, and keep it coming. Now, Whitetail Lawns, he has a 5-star review, labels it game changer. This podcast always has so much useful information and gets me pumped to grow the business. DW Lawn and Landscape, almost forgot the LLC there at the end. He gives it 5 stars and says highly recommend, extremely helpful. I've been listening to these podcasts for years now and watching his YouTube channel, and I can say that if it were not for people like Brian and Keith, obviously referring to our friend Keith Kalfas, I can say that I would not be where I am today with my company. Highly recommend this podcast to anyone trying to make it in the lawn and landscape industry. Finally, somebody who goes by MSG Secure, or Message Secure, I guess, throws Brian a little shade with, "You know what I'm saying." Of course, if you listen to the podcast, that's one of Brian's favorite sayings. Brian, I've been watching your YouTube channel here and there for about a year and just stumbled across your podcast. Excellent job, man. Excellent freaking job. Guys, keep telling people about Fullerton Unfiltered, and when there's an episode that you know somebody else really needs to hear, make sure and send them the link.
Want us to read your review next? Let us know how we're doing, and we might just read your review on next week's show.
All right, guys. Well, let's just jump right back into it. So, Samantha, I want to go right back to you. We have 16 years of experience over here that you're bringing to the table working with Postcard Mania. Can you help give the lay of the land a little bit more about some of the most effective ways to market your lawn landscape business or your small business? And what's your opinion about postcards? What are you guys seeing with how effective they are out there in the field?
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people say, too, that postcards, it's a thing of the past, go digital. And it's one of those things where people still really like to see something tangible. And we've done a lot of surveys, and we've even read some other direct mail surveys that people have done. And people are way more likely to respond off of a direct mail piece than they are to respond off of email marketing, for example. Because we get so cluttered with all of this email that goes into our folder. It's like we never even look at it. So at least with a postcard, you have something tangible for them to hold on to. They have to actually throw it away, but it's like they still have to hold on to it and look at it to be able to see if they're even interested in the service. And I'm just telling you, as being a homeowner, and we do not mow our own lawn, we hire somebody else to do it because we do not have the time.
Sure.
It's a service. Like if we received a postcard, we would definitely be interested. As busy homeowners that have kids and a full-time job, we would want to look into having somebody, be hired to do their lawn. So I do think that this is a great way for you to be able to promote and get your name out there and show people that it is something that they might be interested, because they don't necessarily always want to Google and go and look, hey, what's a lawn care service in my area? If you guys are to let them know, hey, there is lawn care service, use me, you actually have a better chance of getting them to work with you because they would have received like an actual direct mail piece in their hands versus them just going and looking on Google and going to like 10 businesses down there. They're just going to be calling for quotes.
Right.
So you have a higher chance if somebody received your card. They're not just calling for quotes. It's like they're more likely to use you because then they've received your piece.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
100%. And Samantha, I've talked about on previous episodes before as well that I kind of call it the blitzkrieg. So to me, what that is we have yard signs, we have the postcards, our trucks and trailers are up and down the subdivisions, right? So people, when you come in the subdivision at 8 a.m., they see you. When they leave to go get their coffee or take the kids to school or whatnot, and you got those yard signs at the entrances of the subdivisions or the major intersections. They're like, hey, there's Brian's Lawn Maintenance again. And then at 3 o'clock, whether they get it through an EDDM campaign, which we're going to talk about a little bit here that you guys offer that service, or we just put them on the flags a little bit more handbill style, we hit them again. And they see, oh, this Brian's Lawn Maintenance guy, like he can't escape me, And then later that evening, maybe we're running a Facebook ad or a Google ad from Google My Business listing, and they see us again. So for me, I love marketing and I love just being out in front of the customer. And we're going to talk about that. You don't just have to do, one round of EDDM or one round of, hand billing in the spring. I think that's where a lot of folks drop the ball is they only do postcards once. And I'm like, you can do that every 6 to 8 weeks and have multiple campaigns. So, Samantha, I wanted to go back to you and double down about the question about actually getting the print material in their hand. A lot of people in the past, or one of the conversation points about not doing postcards are people like, well, they're just not effective, or you only get 1% return. But the reality is, from my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours, they do get in people's hands. That's the difference between, maybe an ad on some website or TV. Like these actually physically, tangibly get into people's hands. And like you said, you have to conscientiously look at it and throw it out. So what's the return rate, or what are you guys noticing as a ROI for postcards, maybe compared to other marketing?
Yeah, and one of the things that we really do look at is the ROI. You can look at response rate, and response rate can be anywhere from, I think it's like 0.5% to a 3% response. But the one thing that you look at is ROI. And Brian, I think you went over it in one of your videos, is really looking at, okay, one customer becomes a customer. Well, now they might be coming back every single month. Now they might want to do some landscaping. Now they might want to be doing mulching. They might want to do all these other services. So that one customer, you really have to think with like how much that one customer is worth to you and what they're spending over the course period of a year or a couple years if they're going to stay with you for that long.
Sure.
Because when you're doing direct mail, it can be a little bit costly, with the cost of postage and all of that. But if you look at what the return on investment would be, it's well worth it. And a lot of people, I feel like they don't jump around from landscaper to landscaper. Like once they find somebody they like, they're going to stick with them unless they're not doing a good job.
That's a great point.
One of the things, and you mentioned too, like the repetition, that is one thing that we've learned over our 23 years in business is that the campaigns that we've done that have been successful, 100% they're doing repetitive marketing, whether it's through, sending out multiple direct mail pieces or multiple handouts, or maybe they do a direct mail piece and then they also drop off door hangers, or they're doing the yard signs, or then they do the follow-up Google ads, things like that. It's like the more times that you can market to them, the more chances they're going to go with your company versus somebody else, because they see that you've been repetitively marketing to them and it changes their viewpoint, that they're more likely to go with somebody they kind of trust And if you've been marketing to them, they tend to trust you more.
Sure. Well, and one of the resources that we have on LawntrepreneuRacademy.com is the bundle. So we have on LawntrepreneuRacademy.com, that's our training website to give you guys access to the training courses to learn the industry, to learn the business, but then also the resources. So we have contracts, rate increase letters, and then more specifically, the last 4 or 5 months, it took me a year. I'm just telling you guys, I'm so excited about this whole campaign because I honestly thought it would take me about 6 weeks to whip these up, and I was redoing them because I needed new designs. My old designs were a little over a decade old, and they just needed to be updated. And I said, well, if I'm going to update my own design, let's do something generic for everybody else that can be plug and play. So it actually took me a year to get, last I counted, it's probably over 15 or 16 designs between the postcards and the door hangers. And so that's one of the things that we offer is the spring design, a summer design, a fall themed design, and then a winter/snow removal themed design. Well, we have the 4-pack bundle of the core 4 postcards, right? And I think a la carte, each postcard is $75. But if you buy the bundle, instead of it being $300, it's $249. And so to piggyback on what you just said, Samantha, we can hit those customers again in the spring, March, April. We can use the summer design for, June, July, fall, of course, come September, October, November for us that do leaf cleanups. And then for us up here in the Midwest in the snow, you can do that snow removal and pass those out. Same thing, October, November, December. So is that what you guys are seeing with most people? Do they do multiple tier, soft touches, or what's a typical campaign look like out there?
I would say that generally speaking, during your hot season right now, a lot of people, they want to be a little bit more aggressive during this time period because this is where you can pick up the most amount of new clients. But fall is another great time, just like you said, for fall cleanup because there's a lot of people that need that. And I would say that it would be a little bit like we recommend the consistent mailing, but at the same time with your season and your industry, it's a little bit different than your average business like an insurance broker because you'd want to be more aggressive now. I'd probably hit them maybe once every 3 or 4 weeks right now with a direct mail piece or with a handout, just so that you're doing a little bit more consistently. And then I would say in the fall, be a little bit more aggressive during that time period. So it's probably September, October time period. I don't know how many of the people do the winter months, and do the snow removal. If that's an option, then when to hit, it's probably right during the time period that snow's falling. But for you guys, for sure, I'd probably hit it much harder in probably March, April, May, depending on where you guys are, and then just be a little bit more aggressive, maybe even every 3 weeks, be pounding them just to make sure that you're hitting them consistently enough.
Sure. That makes sense. Now, by the way, are you down there in Florida with the rest of the crew, or do you work remote?
I'm in Florida, so we're in Tampa. So our season, I will tell you, our fall cleanup is now. It is not in October.
That's awesome. Well, we have so many friends that are friends of the show. They live in Florida, Georgia. Year round down there. Some parts of Texas and in Florida. So we were in Tampa about 2 months ago now. And if I would have connected the dots, I would have tried to swing over and just brought a camera instead of vlogging at the Postcard Mania HQ. So we'll be back down there before you know it, probably the same time next year. But that's too funny. I thought you were in Florida, so I'm like, snow removal. What am I talking about? So that's awesome.
I know. For me, it's very different. Even for lawn care, for down here, it's pretty much year round. There's only a few months where we don't need it. So, that's a great business to be in down here in Florida.
Amen. 100%. Well, shout out to Kibler Lawn Care, TB Lawn Care, a bunch of my Florida friends, Miami Landscaper. They're all listening and always messaging me and bugging me on DM. And I'm like, don't you have work to do? And they're asking me the same thing, but I'm on my phone. Go figure. But too funny. Well, one question I get a lot, and here's something that I wanted to talk about was pricing for our designs, and then also the printing of the postcard. So you guys realize that you buy the art file, it's $75, but we still have to pay to get them printed off. So it's not like you bought 2,500 postcard designs from myself. So one thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is something that I really think is a tremendous value, is that when you look at the postcards from our website, they're $75, and that's per design. Now, if you're part of the whole ball of wax, you get access to like 38 resources that we have, everything available at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. Now, again, to reiterate, I'm pretty sure we have around 15 or 16 postcard and door hanger designs alone. And if you did the math, we're giving you $1,000 to $1,500 of access to those designs. So some of you guys that are like, well, I want 4 or 5 different postcard designs, the How to Start a Lawn Care Business, foundational program, the How to Get New Customers program. for $1,000, $9.99, we have this great Hardscape Academy and Lawntrepreneur Academy promotion where you get the whole bundle for $9.99. Well, here's something that I wanted to talk about is somebody might say $75 for a postcard just for an art file. Sure, but the reality is that to get a design made up, it's going to be anywhere from $150 plus bucks. And really, here's the real part. For me personally, it's the 5 to 10 hours of back and forth with the print shop. And Postcard Mania made all these designs, and they're incredible. They did a great job. And so, 5 or 10 hours, though, still takes 5 or 10 hours. And if you times that by 2, 3, 4 different designs, and that might be over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks. It's the getting the design back. It's the revisions. It's the, well, I don't really know what to say here. Do I put my number on the front? Do I put my name on the back? Like all these different questions that you guys might have when you're trying to design a postcard, whether it's through Postcard Mania or otherwise. That's really what I wanted to help save you guys. It's the time for 5 or 10 hours of back and forth, and we're still bringing you guys the postcards at half the cost of a normal design. So Samantha, do you want to weigh in on that at all? Like, is there any typical timeline that you guys have for designing postcards, or do you personally say that this is a tremendous value for our listeners and our audience?
It is. I mean, I will tell you, if we are starting from scratch, generally speaking, the very first draft that you would get together would take 3 to 5 business days.
Sure.
So even that alone takes so much time, especially if you're looking at jumping on something and getting a campaign started now so that you can have it out during the season. I mean, any time that we're wasting on getting those proofs back and delaying, I mean, I do think it's delaying time period that you can have a piece out there and actually getting business.
Sure.
And also another thing too is all of our designs that we created for Brian are all based off of our results division. And any time that we have gotten success from a landscaping company, we're cataloging all of the results and everything that worked on that. So when we've developed those designs for Brian, I mean, it's all backed by all of that experience that we've had. So, I mean, you got the best because of the fact that it's also going to be way quicker. And the other thing is, too, is that we have all the editable art files. So even if there's minor little changes that you need to make because of the fact that you don't offer a certain service, or you do offer a service that's not mentioned on the card, we have all the editable art files. So then making those minor little changes will go much faster. And you've already gotten all the major design bought by Brian. So it's a win-win. And then we can just handle the minor little edits for you.
And that's something that I really appreciate you guys offering. So to give you guys the lay of the land, if you buy the PDF art file off the website for $75, and we have, like I said, the spring, summer, fall, winter, and then we have, I think, 11 auxiliary designs. And what that means is hedge trimming and pruning, sod installation, mulch installation, paver patio installation, aeration overseed. There is Christmas lights. For some of you guys down south, I had people say, hey, can you design a Christmas light postcard? And I said, well, I don't do Christmas lights. And they said, well, I do, and I need postcards. And I said, all right, because you guys are smart to leverage me. I said, well, if you go get a design made up for $150 to $200, that's fine. But our Christmas design postcard looks incredible. I mean, literally, the Postcard Mania knocked it out of the park. So you guys got to imagine the last 12 months, we've had, including 3 or 4 door hanger designs. I've put in some hours. You guys hear what I'm saying? Like average 5 or 10 hours times 20 designs. And I don't know what I was thinking about having these done in 6 weeks last spring, just to be honest. So in Postcard Mania, like they were on it, and we were working with Jillian, and we were getting revisions back, and it was great. But I said, look, let's scale. Let's work together as an industry. Let's work together as a community, and let's leverage, having cheaper designs, because we can all do this in bulk and just save a bunch of money. It wasn't a cash grab. It's hey, I don't want you guys to have to spend 10 hours trying to get these things designed and all that back and forth, especially if it is during the busy season. If you take this postcard design, 2 things. One, you can take it to your local print shop, and they can print them up for you. You can take it to a vistaprint.com, for example, and they can print printed up for you. Just make sure that you guys tell the print shop you work with to resize the art file. So it is a 6x9 design, but 6x9 is not a true 6x9 for everybody. So for example, Vistaprint.com might be a 6.25 by 8.75. And then another place might be a 9.25 by 5.75. So when we talk 6x9, if you guys download the art file and just take it to your print shop or just go to Vistaprint.com, just be aware you might have to resize the art file. Vistaprint will do it usually for $5. They'll resize the file to make sure it has the right bleed all the way on the website. So if you just buy the design and take it to Vistaprint and order 2,500 of these in, you might have the edges, cut off, and we don't want to see that happen. Now, the other thing I'll tell you is that those designs are not traditionally editable, right? So if you buy the design and you want some minor edits, like Samantha was just alluding to with, maybe you don't offer, hedge pruning, maybe you don't offer aeration, or maybe you don't do, mulch installation, whatever it is, Samantha and her team have said, well, hey, to earn the business, I mean, that's what their business is printing up postcards, is, hey, we'll do some minor edits. Like buy the design from Brian in Lawntrepreneur Academy, email up Samantha and her team. We have a direct link and contact info to reach out to them. And if you guys take that design, that PDF art file, Samantha and her team will make minor edits for free. Is that right, Samantha?
For free. Yep, for free. We're doing it for free.
That's crazy.
Because of our relationship.
That's awesome. Well, we super appreciate that, because that does take time. It does take effort, and that doesn't go unnoticed with our listeners and for me personally, because we've had so many people. Samantha, we were getting a lot of feedback from people getting them printed off from you guys all last, February, March, April. And people were saying, well, I don't do sprinkler irrigation. So what we did is we completely revamped all the cards in about a week. We took off sprinkler irrigation, servicing, or whatever it said, and we added a more generic hedge pruning, service item on the front there. So we really appreciate that. But if you don't have a certain service that you don't offer, purchase the design through Lawntrepreneur Academy, go to Postcard Mania to get them printed up, and they'll make those edits for you guys for free. So, Samantha, can you talk about pricing? If you want to get into dollars and cents, that's fine. But if you want to even talk high level, that's cool too. What can these guys expect once they buy the postcard from LawnpreneurAcademy.com? We have a custom, landing page or link to send these guys that has all the different price breakdowns and bundles that you guys put together, kind of like best, I don't call it common practices, but what you guys see people order the most from. So can you go into that for a couple quick minutes here for us?
Definitely. And you can see all of the pricing if you go to postcardmania.com/Brian. You'll be able to see all the packages that we've come up with. And because of the fact that we print all of our own stuff in-house, there are certain, tiers and quantities for us that it make more sense where you guys are getting better price breaks. So you'll see some different packages on there where you can get 3,000 postcards or 6,000 postcards, and that might be either printed and shipped, or if you also want to look at having us do the mailing services and mail out for you, we've got those different options. And we also can do anything custom. So if we were to look at a list count in your area and you only have 2,700, for example, we could just purchase that. It's just much easier because of the fact that we also have factored in to get some extra free cards as being part of Brian's group. If you buy 2,500, you get 500 extra cards for free. If you buy 5,000, you get an extra 1,000 for free. So that's some of Brian's discounted rates that you're getting by purchasing through us.
Yeah.
And we also do have the door hanger packages on there, as well as some online marketing too. But it's a pretty great landing page, and you'll be able to see all the pricing there. And then if you're looking for something custom that's not one of these specific packages, you can always let our consultants know what you need. Both Kristen and Allison would be your main contacts. And, they've been dealing with all of Brian's referrals. They know exactly everything about this relationship, so they can help you out with anything that you need.
That's awesome. And we really appreciate you guys knowing, when folks do call in, that somebody on your end is ready to take those orders and help these guys out, because they're busy. They're busy, cutting grass and making that cash, as my friend Paul says. And one thing that I wanted to just really double down, and I love what you brought up earlier, was we call it customer acquisition costs, or CAC, or what it costs to acquire a new customer. And so, if you've always done 7-cent paper flyers, like we have a residential flyer template on LawnpreneurAcademy.com. It's kind of geared more for like the startup or like the younger audience that listens in, and maybe they're just, a 15, 18-year-old kid just trying to get their feet wet. You can go to Staples and get your black ink, lime green paper, print off copies and have a little plug and play design. If you're starting to grow your company and treat it more professionally, and you're reinvesting and you want to get some high quality designs, it might be 10, 20, 30 cents for a postcard done right, depending on prices and all that other mess. One thing what I have some people say is when they buy the design, they email me and they go, oh my God, I got to spend another $400 or $500 or $800 for postcards. And I'm like, yeah, it costs money to get these printed up. And if you've never made those investments before, I get it. Like, I've been there. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way because I came from, getting 1,000, flyers made up at Staples for $75. And now I have to spend $750. And so there's a sticker shock sometimes to people who've only been in business for a year or two. And you guys are like, man, there's $750 to get postcards made up. Yeah, it costs money for these nice, high quality designs, but don't look at necessarily just the cost. You got to look at the return. And like Samantha said, when you're seeing a 1 to 3% return and you're acquiring that customer, this is business owner 101, right, guys? This is ROI. If you pass out that postcard and it costs you 30 cents, which it might be higher, it might be lower, but just get the point, and you get them for an aeration and it's $99, and then you get them for that mulch install and it's a $1,200 mulch job, and then they say, well, you guys did pretty good on the last two. I see that you guys also mow. Can you give me a quote? And it's a $45 weekly cut, and now you have another $1,200 in mowing. Well, 35 cents just turned into whatever that analogy was, $2,500 in work, and that doesn't count landscaping, that doesn't count Christmas lights or snow removal. I mean, a 30 or 40 cent postcard can now bring you back a multiple of, I don't even know what the percentage is. It's astronomical. And like Samantha said, that's just year one. That doesn't count 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I have some customers, I know for a fact that my postcards have gotten us that we've had literally for 14 and 15 years. It's crazy. So don't just think, wow, this is $750 or whatever to get these designs made up. Think, I'm going to have the best printing and marketing materials out there. And whether you are brand new in business or you've been in business for 5 or 10 years, marketing is the equalizer. I keep saying that on all my podcasts, Samantha. You might be brand new in business, but if you have a beautiful postcard design, nobody knows you're the new guy. They think you've been in business for 15 years and you're that 35-year-old, chiseled vet contractor.
That is a very good point, Brian. I never thought about that, but it's so true. It creates a brand effect and a brand awareness, and they have no idea how long you've been in business. So I 100% agree with that.
That's my cheat code, as the kids will say. But that's my point, guys. Don't look at it as $750. I'm like, yeah, dude, I get it. I do the same thing. But you get the phone to start ringing, and you get 1, 2, 3 mulch jobs or landscape jobs, and they're recurring, jobs year after year. I mean, you won't even think twice. I mean, I know people that spend $5,000 and $10,000 every year. In fact, that's their budget. They take a certain percentage of their gross sales and they dump it back into postcards and marketing. And so it's like a non-negotiable. That's what they do to grow. So, all right. So we covered door hangers. We covered the postcard designs. One question I get a lot, and we'll probably land the plane here in just a quick minute because I want to be respectful of Samantha's time, is EDDM. So I know it's another question we get a lot. I don't personally do a ton with EDDM, but so many of you guys do. And so one thing I wanted to lean on Samantha is ask her some questions about EDDM and even some other options above that are a little bit more personalized and a little bit more effective. So if you guys happen to look at the website, most of the designs we have are very generic. They're for hand billing. That means you have a sack for 1,000, 2,000 of them with you in hand or in the truck, and you're passing them out on mailboxes. Never in the mailboxes, right, guys? We know that one. Or you're leaving them in the doors or in the little newspaper holder. That's kind of what a lot of those are targeted for. But we do have the 4 core designs: the spring, summer, fall, and winter in an EDDM format and fashion. And that is to help you guys with mailing out the designs. Maybe you are a growing company. You're like, hey, I need my labor. We're working. We got guys that are installing mulch. I don't have time for these guys to pass out flyers. I don't know if they're going to get into the hands of my customers when you got Timmy, paying him $12 an hour and he's an 18-year-old kid, if he's actually going to have integrity to pass out these flyers. So we have EDDM. So Samantha, what is EDDM? What's the next tier up to make it a little bit more effective? And how does Postcard Mania take somebody who just calls in, they want a design that they bought off the website, they want it customized, and then they want to ship it? How does that whole process work?
Yeah, so there's definitely some pros and cons to every door direct mail. I came on scene, I think probably about 6 years ago. I can't quite remember. But the great thing about it is that it makes the postage cost so cheap. So you really can market to everybody in a particular neighborhood. So if you know your area really well and you know certain neighborhoods that you want to get into because they're the perfect clients, EDDM would be a great option because you can pinpoint those routes and we can target every household on that route, and you can get postage for like 20 to 22 cents per piece.
Okay.
So it's pretty cheap to send it out that way. The only downfall with the every door direct mail is that you can also be marketing out to multifamily dwelling units. So you could be marketing out to renters in apartment complexes and condos or townhomes. And maybe that isn't really your client because you guys aren't going to be working with them. So we do also have the option to do a targeted direct mail piece, which means going after single family dwelling units, homeowners. We can do a length of residence or income level or home value. And that way you guys don't have to do all of the research to pick out exactly what neighborhoods, because if we do that criteria, we can pretty much target a zip code, and then it's just going to target anybody that fits that demographic to make sure that it's going into the hand of the person that you really want it to go to. However, if you're doing it that way, it is just a little bit more expensive, obviously, because of the fact that you have to purchase the list, and then the cost of postage is a little bit higher because postman has to actually deliver it to that particular person versus every resident on a route.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
Now,
Yep.
And we can price it both ways. I think the pricing that we have on the landing page is set up for the targeted mailing, but we also do have the every door direct mail option, and we can definitely price it out. Maybe going over with the consultant, they basically can talk it about and see which way makes the most sense for your area.
Sure.
To determine which route makes sense.
And the reason I bring that up is because some of you guys, like I said, you're busy running the crew. You guys are busy, working. You don't have time to pass out flyers. Like, look, I totally get it. I'm in that balancing point where I'm like, what makes more sense? Paying a guy $15 an hour to pass these out, or just paying the postage and knocking it out with a targeted campaign. Here's one thing I wanted to double down is what Samantha said. Is same thing like when we're talking about back in the day with Send Jim, another great tool out there, tool in the tool belt, is the fact is that you don't want these postcards, like Samantha said, to go to everybody necessarily. So for example, when you do EDDM, because I've dabbled with it and looked at it, and when I'm targeting a certain route, it's perhaps picking up a huge apartment complex, and 225 doors or apartment units are going to get this postcard about lawn care. Now, if you're Pizza Hut, sure, you want to send that out to everybody. But if you're a lawn care landscaper, ain't nobody at the condo or apartment complex signing up for lawn care. They can get the flyer and hand it out to grandma. Yeah. I get it. But you guys know what I'm saying. Well, where I live, there's massive apartment complexes, like, hundreds, if not thousands of people indoors and units in these complexes. So if I select one or two routes where I live, there's a 600 lot mobile home park, trailer park. There's another one right next to it, 600. The one that I grew up in, there's 600 trailers. There's 6 or 7 massive apartment complexes. So it's almost like where the roads and the mail routes are partitioned. I almost can't do an EDDM because I'm going to get one of the mobile home parks, one of them, and there's nothing against having mobile home park lawns. I did for 15 years or 13 years, but the reality is like those weren't the customers I was looking for. So maybe they are for you guys, and if so, great, God bless. But for me, if I'm not trying to market to that, but I'm still trying to select that route, you can't unselect it necessarily with an EDDM campaign. So what Samantha's talking about is these targeted campaigns might be of more value to you guys if you want to just do the direct mail route. That's kind of what you're saying, Samantha?
Exactly. And we do have kind of a mailing option in between Every Door Direct Mail and Targeted, and it's called a carrier route mailing. It's very similar to Every Door Direct Mail, but it's only a little bit more expensive. And when I say that, it's like maybe 3 cents more expensive than doing the regular Every Door Direct Mail. But you can target single family dwellings only. So we can't tell if they're homeowners. They might be renting, but it's still somebody that's in a single family dwelling.
Sure.
So that's always a great option as well. And again, I mean, literally there's tons of different mailing options that are available. So anything that you guys are having questions on, you can always call in and talk to one of our consultants, talk to Kristen or Allison, and they'll literally go over what makes the most sense based on your scenario in your area to determine which one makes the most sense.
Okay, well, good deal. Well, we'll definitely follow up with that and make sure that you guys get in touch with them. We'll make sure to leave postcardmania.com/Brian in the show notes. Mr. Producer can do that for us. But here's the overall arching topic, guys. I want you to have effective postcards. I want them to get in the hands of customers. I want you guys to have the phone to ring to help you guys grow your business. It's really that simple. And the biggest bottleneck that I always come to find, for me personally, over 15 years, is who do I trust? Who do I know? Who has a track record of doing this stuff? Like almost everybody and their brother prints something out of their garage or their basement. And that's great. But I wanted a company that I know that could handle the volume, that would be there with customer service and support, that could honestly hold our hand as we go through this whole process, because most of you guys listening are a little bit, sharper than I am, So I wanted to have somebody that could help me every step of the way. I wanted effective, beautiful, amazing designs. If you guys look at them, we literally show you exactly what they are on the website, front and back. All you have to do when you purchase them is send them over to your print shop, or, preferably go with Postcard Mania. They can add your name, your logo, a call to action on the back. They're extremely plug and play. And again, if you want to go the custom route, and even have Postcard Mania ship them, I'm sure they can facilitate with that. Today's conversation is just with the plug and play resources. But if you guys are busy, and if you guys want to start getting the phone to ring, and you have a goal of having an effective marketing campaign, that's what these designs are for. They're half the price, if not a third of the price, of what a design on your own is going to cost from Postcard Mania or otherwise. And not only that, it's the time. It's the 5 to 10 plus hours back and forth. Hey, is the photo right? Hey, is the color right? Hey, are these effective? Samantha, you touched on that. Is this design even effective? We've seen so many people with so many different iterations and ideas out there about what works and what doesn't work. Well, I'm telling you what, these postcards, they are designed effectively. I know they work. We use them in my own business. Okay. These 100% have my seal of endorsement on them. And we're excited that if you guys want to check them out, you can go to lawntrepreneur.academy.com, get access to the course. Inside the course, we have a 15-minute explainer video, kind of covering a little bit of what Samantha and I just talked about. This is a little bit more in depth, obviously. You get the downloadable art file inside the course, and then email up Postcard Mania. Say, hey, I need to get 2,500, 4,000, 8,000, 10,000, whatever the price break tiers were there on that landing page and website. And the ladies there will help you guys every step of the way. It's as simple as I can make it. It's still going to take some work, but it's as simple as I can make it to help you guys that are budding entrepreneurs, or you want to take your marketing to the next level. This is the best I can do for you guys. And I've already heard the feedback. All of you guys that get designs in, thank you for tagging me on Instagram and Instagram stories. I see all your guys' designs come in when they get just these boxes, Samantha, just full of postcards. And it's almost like you can hear them rubbing their hands together like, hey, this season's going to be our season. You know what I mean? So I love it.
Totally. It's like a box of cash waiting for them.
Hey, you're not wrong. I seriously, when I get my postcard designs made up, like I show it to my mom, I show it to my wife, I leave a couple on the counter everywhere I go. I'm like, yo, this is my business. This is my business card. This is my foot forward as a small business owner to get that phone to ring. So that's what I got for you guys. Samantha, any parting thoughts? But if not, we can probably button up right here. This has been a really good time. So I hope you guys find a lot of value out of this.
Absolutely. It was a great call, and I really hope you guys are thriving businesses, and you guys have an awesome season.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. And Samantha, we hope that you guys have a continued great season down there in Florida. A little jealous here, you know what I'm saying? You guys get that year-round beautiful weather down there, and very, very jealous of that. So maybe I will have to come visit y'all at Postcard Mania sometime in the winter. I think I'm quickly becoming a snowbird. Is that what they call it? So we'll...
oh, yeah. Snowbird.
We'll have to
come in January. You'll enjoy it.
I think we did this thing called the Hype House, where a couple other leaders in the green industry came on down there, and we spent a week at this really bodacious home, and we just created content to help these guys grow their businesses. And I think we're on the schedule to come down there again sometime in January. So we'll have to connect off mic and line that all up. But I'm looking forward to it. So thanks again for taking the time to join us on the show. And one more time, if people want to get a hold of you guys, where can they go, and what's the email again? Just while we got you.
Yep. So go to postcardmania.com/Brian. Or also, if you guys want to call in, you can call 888-241-0850. And that specifically will go over to my area so that they know they were referred by Brian.
Awesome. And then that's where they can get the discounts and the savings on all the different bundles?
You got it.
Awesome. All right. Well, guys, I'm not a hard sell. If you guys pick up the designs, awesome. If you don't, absolutely no big deal. Hopefully there's a couple nuggets in here to help you guys out with having, more effective in marketing your business kind of campaign here for this season or for years to come. But guys, that's what we got today for Samantha Heald, if I'm not mistaken. And we appreciate her taking time to jump on the show with Postcard Mania. Check them out, guys, postcardmania.com. We'll leave a link in the show notes, and we will look forward to catching up with all of you guys here on the next one.
Choosing the right equipment also means getting service and support you can trust. Hi, it's Michelle with the Exmark Customer Service Team. We are committed to giving you the expert technical support necessary to keep your equipment performing at its best. Reach us by phone, email, or social media on any weekday, and we will respond quickly with advice you can trust because it comes straight from the folks who built your machines. Visit exmark.com to learn about Exmark's industry-leading service and parts support.
My wife is always telling me that if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. That's why you need to grab the new residential contract today at the Lawntrepreneur Academy. It's Mr. Producer, and if you want to secure your work for the upcoming year and lock in customers for guaranteed work, then this $25 investment in your biz is going to pay huge dividends. Some of you I know are a la carte, sort of a mow-and-go type of lawn care business owner, and if that works, awesome. But we know that many of you guys wanted something a little more formal, something that guarantees rates and work, a contract that has some attached legalese and fees, of course, in case the customer doesn't pick up the dog mess, something that's easily spelled out for them that that's their responsibility. Snag this downloadable residential contract today to help secure business and also give your customers confidence that they've signed up with a professional outfit. There's different sections of the contract that you can modify, adjust, or remove entirely, all based on your market, your region. I do hope you've got contracts to secure your commercial business. If not, Lawntrepreneur Academy can certainly help with that as well. But now you can have the confidence to lock in your residential customers with this fully customizable resource exclusively at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.